Boom.
There you go.
Well, I did not hear yours, but I'm just going to
It
pretend that I
happened.
did.
It
It
definitely
happened.
happened. It
You're
definitely was. There was a spike in the audio. You're good. You're
you're
good.
you're just lying to me, and you just want to like
Yeah, yeah.
gaslight me.
Like, let's play guess where we start the episode.
Hmm. Really messed me up.
Yeah, it's like an initiation type thing. Like I'm getting you to editor at the silver level. Like
Yeah,
you're
that's
still at bronze. You said this is your gateway, your test, your ultimate test.
yeah, that's actually why I'm keeping you talking so that I can sync it up.
Right. Oh fuck. Well, here we are.
Here we are. So the thing about doing these one-on-one episodes that it's really fun because I get to really explore these characters with you guys, but then I don't get to see the rest of you as often.
Mm-hmm.
At least in terms of the table party world, and especially those listening in real time. How you been doing, Chris?
I've been doing all right. I've been getting excited to get back to this. I've last few sessions, I think that Cliff has been very stressed out by everything that's been going on. And I think today is the day that we teach him to keep calm and carry on, or whatever that fucking poster is.
Yeah, it's the cat, and it's hanging there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I think that's what we need to. We try to have to get him to that point. But right now, he's just tired. He's just tired. We need to, help him out a bit.
Mm-hmm. So I covered this in the last couple episodes on where exactly we are in terms of time.
Mm-hmm.
Where about the day that all of the thing, I don't have the notes in front of me, but the day that everything happened at the casino, the day before that was the day that everything happened at the grocery store.
Right, that was the freezer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you had, of course, then the drop that there was going to be more parasites that were going to come out of the tunnels underground that were going to happen in 3 days from the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
So then you had the day after that it was everything at the casino, and then we'll have the day after that in which I was able to explore with a lot of the other characters how they're doing from everything that's happened, and then the day after that, or even actually later on in that free day, you guys are going to get together late evening. I know you already have a gist because you listened to the other episodes. I think
yes,
that's definitely
the whole
a bonus
domain
of
Jeremiah episodes.
Yeah, of being able to have you do that later,
For sure. It's
And
really work. It's I'm able to. I have to like remember that I know what has happened in those, but Cliff doesn't know. So like I can't really like reference anything that has happened in those campaigns necessarily.
yeah, I mean, just erase it from your brain.
Yes.
Just keep in mind, like, it'll probably be around late afternoon the next day when you get a message from Hold'em asking to meet up. But we're not there yet.
Sure.
For now, we're going to pick up from where we last left Cliff's story off, which was the night where everything at the casino happened, where between, meeting George and having all of this cosmic mumbo-jumbo lore drop on you, and seeing, and then having everything happen after, all of the Jane Lynch ridiculousness, but also the very serious coming to terms of these other people who are also trying to get involved and do something, but they're not quite doing it the right way. Mm-hmm. And what makes you guys risking your life for this kind of cause different than them trying to risk their life.
Right.
But that might not be with what Cliff is struggling with. Now, before we started recording, you told me that there was something about Cliff's past that, if we end up talking about Cliff's feelings, might come up.
Yeah.
And it's up to you whether you want to kind of talk about that, and you can kind of describe it as like a flashback scene, or if you want it to kind of come up in dialogue, and we see what happens.
I'm trying to. It depends, I think, on who Cliff is talking to, because it may be that he hasn't told that person about what happened that made him leave the fire department, and that retelling it, would kind of like that would kind of tell the story right there for them, or I mean, to me, I think if I'm confiding in someone that I know well and that I have had in my life for a while, most likely they already know the story. So I think we could potentially go through it in a kind of flashback way, but I also don't want to handicap you because you don't necessarily know what I'm gonna pull out.
No, I'm totally down. So we start off Cliff's Christopher.
Clifftopher.
Yeah,
sounds dirty.
We start off Cliff's story. He is leaving the casino, and then we are taken into a flashback. You tell me. Mm-hmm. You tell me what we're looking at.
Yeah. So essentially, I like we were saying earlier, like Cliff is tired, and he's just he's just remembering kind of what it has been like fighting fires and getting involved with the fire department and having to put his life on the line when having to deal with those threatening situations. Now, what we've had established before, or at least I think we had established before, was that he really didn't have a lot of those situations that he had to deal with. He was kind of like a backup guy where he did more of the office work in the fire department, but if he had to go, be like another body at a fire, especially if it was a major fire that was going on, that he would be there for that. And so I'm gonna say about 2 weeks, and I don't know, have we established what his age is, his actual age is?
Ever? No, not really.
Yeah.
Because,
I'm gonna say like this happened a decade ago then. About. Okay. And he it was 2 weeks before he decided to leave the department. And, him and his fire crew buddies are all hanging out in the firehouse, and an alarm goes off, and that kind of cues a bunch of them to get up from the desks and start running to the trucks. And then and forgive me, I know almost nothing about firehouses on how they work, but my understanding is that there's probably someone that would inform, like the fire chief would probably inform everyone else as to exactly what is the circumstances.
They have an idea of what the situation is, and what do you think this is? Like, this is like a much larger fire?
Yeah, so yeah, this is I guess, yeah, I guess a 5-alarm fire would be the term for this. I don't know if that means that so ultimately, because of this, and the crew chief comes out and he's just like, 5-alarm fire, and he shouts out a town that is outside of the district, which happens a lot from when I was doing like writing local news stuff. Like, I read a lot of stories about how like there's other towns tend to come together and fight a fire if it needs to happen. So in this case, Flats had to go drive for a while, but not too long, in order to reach this fire. He and his crew end up driving to this house, and it's completely engulfed. It is a completely engulfed fire, and at this point, there's no firefighter that's going in. It is just a bunch of hoses pointed at the house, trying to get the fire under control. Because at that point, it's not what's in the house that's of concern, it's that the fire is going to spread to other houses. And it's just not worth trying to save whatever's happening in that house right this minute. So they do the usual protocol of just unrolling the hose, and hooking it up to the water, and just start spraying in a place that isn't being as sprayed as all the other hoses that are there. There has to be like 15 different fire trucks that are lining up down the road, down the street, just like a whole lot of people just trying to get this fire out, because it is a pretty decent sized house and a fire that is just going out of control. And it's an exhausting battle to get it under control, but luckily they are able to. But the devastating part for Cliff wasn't so much fighting the fire, it was seeing the aftermath of it, where as they go through the rubble and he finds the people that are investigating are finding the bodies of the people that were inside the house. It looked like a middle-aged man, a woman living that was seemingly sleeping beside him, and a child, a body of a young boy, and a body of a young girl. And Cliff particularly just remembers walking into the room after the bodies are taken away, and walking into a room and seeing what seemed to be what was a colorful room in the in the home, that had these stuffed animals stacked up that are now completely charred and unrecognizable, and then finding out that the cause of the fire was nothing that happened in the house, but some person that had been smoking a cigarette and tossed it onto the yard of this house, causing the fire to unleash. And it was just this devastating moment of how for Cliff, he hadn't really had to tackle a ton of mortality in his life, and if he had, it was always somewhat expected. Like, it would have been a relative that had been sick, or if there were some sort of loss in the family, it was for a reason that made sense. I know that's a morbid way to look at it, but for him, this was unconscionable, that a family that was just sleeping in their homes that night of the fire, and having done nothing to, accidentally left something on, or forgot to check their fire, alarms or anything like that, that it was this person, this one individual, whoever it was, that had this lit cigarette that ended the life of an entire family in an instant. And he always just constantly thinks about how that family had their next day planned. They were ready to go to school the next day. They were ready to go to work the next day. They were ready to take on a bunch of household chores, the next day, or, what they're planning out, what their week was going to be, planning out what their month was going to be. And they never woke up. and I think that hit Cliff hard, and I think for him, he needed an escape, and he was able to find that escape. Golf had always been something that he found joy in, and so not only did he find a new job at this golf course in Flats, but that he also wanted to take on life in a happier manner, in a way that he would walk away from each day feeling like he made someone smile, or made someone's day, or helped someone out, because he very much worries about the idea of going to sleep thinking that you're going to be up the next day, and you're not. And he wants to make sure that he had made an impact, that he did in every single day that he tackled. And so it very much shaped what we see as Cliff now, that moment. And I think that has come back to him a bit with having now been on this front lines of this fight against the parasites, having seen what has happened to... he thinks about Mateo and about how his father was taken away from him from this parasite that has just come down, and that Mateo no one could do anything about, and how, you know, these mind, you know, the order having brainwashed, you know, these like the multiple ones of their like multiple workers at the casino, and having taken away you know, Robbie's brother, you know, like we don't think we don't know if you'll ever get him back, and all in this name of selfishness. And it's been just so hard for Cliff to reconcile being a part of all of it. And I think that he just wants out. I think that he does not want to be a part of doing this. This is not what he wanted to build his life doing. I think that he just wanted to play golf and live the rest of his days helping people play a sport, and not having to care or face a life-saving situation again, unless it had to do with his family. And so it's I think that's the most I can I can divulge right now, and I would love to see where we go from there.
Sure. Would you be comfortable if I build on it a little bit?
100%, my dude.
I want you to roll plus sharp.
Okie doke. That's a 9.
That's a 9. Okay. With a mixed success, you think back on, you know, when you were walking around the actual place itself, and in the living room, because, you know, when you were looking through a house that has been just ravaged by a fire, just everything, especially afterwards, it's covered in soot and just burnt wreckage. A lot of the walls are just covered in this dark sinew that just takes over the entire thing, and a lot of belongings have melted or have just burnt to a crisp. And there are of course some patches that of maybe some carpet that look untouched despite, you know, the incredible fire. And sometimes that happens like that. And there is one place in the living room where you see on the floor is a very kind of like a cheap, made with a cheap plastic. It's like a bracelet, and there's a little charm on it that probably had some sort of, you know, character on it, but the charm has kind of been melted and is distorted slightly. And it's just something that if you wanted to take wouldn't affect anybody. It's not worth any. It's not some piece of expensive jewelry or anything like that the family or extended family would really be looking for.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. And whether, you still carry that with you or you still have that with you, you can still have that. And while you are on your way home that night after the casino, you're thinking about all of that and how that night you were really forced to come to terms with the idea of how quickly life can be lost, and how in just a night or in a moment people can lose their lives. And while you think you've come very comfortable with the idea of death, when somebody's time comes, it comes whether it be through old age or disease. Usually people get to live their lives, but the fact that you find yourself in a situation again where you are seeing and hearing about people losing their lives again to a force that seems as chaotic and violent as fire. It's definitely bringing back that memory.
100%.
When you get home, I imagined it was pretty late the night before. Is there anything that you do before getting home, or you just head straight home?
I think he's heading straight home at this point. I think that he just needs that comfort.
Okay. I think after your previous talk with Barbara, she is still up. From based on your previous talk where you kind of told her everything that's been happening, she even offered to help in some way that if she could. But she is still very much worried about you, so she stayed up. And I think as soon as you come through the door, hey, what happened today?
A lot. Could we sit down for a second?
Yeah, sit down.
Yeah.
You guys kind of just sit down in the living room.
I pour myself a big old cup of Diet Pepsi. And,
she'll take one.
Yeah. I pour her a glass. And, so I sit down. Barb, I don't know how I can even begin. You're always gonna be my number one, and my person that I will tell everything, and that might not make the people that I'm working with happy that I'm doing so, and that may make the, I guess the powers that be not very happy either. But you need to know what's going on. And the truth is, things are bleak right now. I don't know if I can even recall everything that I've learned today, but I don't know if humanity is going to survive what forces we are dealing with here.
She's very interested, and she's very, but in a way where, her head is tilted, and, she's listening to every word that you're saying. in a way where she kind of wants to know more, but she wants to be there and comfort you, and she puts her hand on you. Hey, listen. However bleak it's looking and however desperate it looks, we've got each other, okay?
That's what I hope and want, and we're entering really dangerous territory, Barbara. I'm trying to remember what exactly I told Barbara to this point. Like, was how much does she know about what's going on?
So she knows everything that happened with the Greyhound, everything that happened at the grocery store. The only things that she does not know, I mean, she probably knows that Hold'em is a part of a secret society, but not so much all of the dark secrets that are going on there. All of them, you probably touched on the mind, body, soul stuff, but haven't, now you know much more about the beginning of the universe, things like that. You don't have to go into detail again if if you don't remember every detail. I'm sure Cliff might remember better than us. If you just want to say, I tell her everything.
Yeah, I definitely tell her. I'll just say blanket statement with that. I do tell her everything. But I follow that up by just saying, like, I don't want to keep doing this, Barbara. I can't. I don't mean to make light, but I'm too old for this shit. I've spent my early parts of my life fighting against fires and fighting to save people's lives, and that was stressful enough, and that drained me a lot, and but I can't keep doing this if what we end up getting towards is nothing. I can't watch as these parasites take over and ruin our society, and me be on the front lines having done nothing. Or even if I do something, I just don't know if it's gonna be enough. And I wanna get the hell out of Flats, Barbara. I want to take Stacy out of school. I want to take you and Stacy,
Daniel,
Daniel. Yeah, you're recovering to the papers to remember. I want to take you and Stacy and Daniel. I want to go. I want to, and it may lead to us having to succumb to the parasites eventually. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is horrific, bleak stuff, but this is the stuff that I've had to face for days. I cut a guy in half. Like, it's just been so much, and I can't face doing it anymore. I want to get away, and I just want to spend whatever time we have left somewhere else. That family that I told you about right when I decided to give my 2 weeks notice, that family that died in that fire, they did not know that they were going to die. We might be able to know, and we might be able to at least delay it and make the best of it for the rest of this. I don't want to spend it fighting a battle that we're not going to win.
She kind of moves in to hold you, and she kind of takes her hand and actually, like, holds your face and your hair, and she just looks into your eyes. Honey, you look so tired.
I am.
I can't imagine the week that this has been. I'm so happy that you're home, and I'm so happy that you're safe. I would be happy to have you walk away from this, and to be able to have you safe. I don't care about the rest of humanity. I care about you, and I care about our kids. I care about our family. You have been such a hero, whether it was in the fire department or with all of this that's going on now, and I am so proud of you. If this is such a large scale thing, maybe it isn't our battle to fight. It is something that for us to walk away and live another day. If other people want to take this up, you have more than enough proven yourself. And I don't want to lose you.
And that's the thing. I don't want to lose you either. I don't want anything to happen to the kids, and I know Daniel loves learning about this stuff and probably wants to stay here. But I can't put him in danger. I can't have him be here anymore. I need to. I need us to be safe. I need us to be safe.
When
I don't. Go ahead.
When you came home a couple nights ago, and everything that happened at the pet store, I was so scared. I mean, not only seeing you, but seeing our Sandy. And while I was so scared by the whole thing, and I wanted to take all of us, and I wanted to tell you no, and I wanted to tell you to stop doing this with these people, to stop trying to fight against this. Sandy, I mean, I talked to her the next day, and she went on about how you saved her, and how if you weren't there, if her father wasn't there to be there for her, she doesn't know what would have happened. And I know what happened with the fire was really, really hard. But even you just being there, being able to keep that from spreading, it could have been a much worse situation. I mean, if there are these people who have lost themselves to these parasites, if that is something that has already happened, we can be angry at the government for not knowing what they're doing, or this cosmic society in Las Vegas. You hear the words coming out of my mouth, but
I know.
We could be mad at them for not taking care of it, but at the end of the day, what has happened has happened, and it is not your fault. And I know you, Cliff. You have a bigger heart than anybody, and that's why I love you. But it is things that have already happened. We can't control that. things that have already happened. By the time that you got to that fire, it had already started. But the fact that you were there, you helped save the people in the surrounding neighborhood. You helped save all of the other houses around. You kept it from getting worse. You saw a bad situation and you made it better. And there are still consequences from that bad situation. But you did what you could and you helped, and that is why I am so proud of you. And it was that thought alone that kept me from telling you no, from wishing that you would just step away, and it's what kept me from fighting against it and to support you on doing what you thought was right. But I need you to know that you can't let that get to you. I would happily leave it. I would happily leave and go and look and think of you and the kids and be there for them and put them first. But I know how big of a heart you have, and I'm scared that if we do go, you might regret it. But everything you've done so far, I am so proud of you. And I don't want everything that's happened before you even knew about it to beat you up. I know you have done your best, and I know you will always continue to do your best. And that's all I can ever ask of you.
I love you, Barbara. I really appreciate those words. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do right now. I think maybe it's just my exhaustion that's telling me to give up.
Of course.
Maybe it's
you need to rest.
Yeah, maybe it's just seeing just so much devastation in this and feeling helplessness and in this whole fiasco. It's just this wild fiasco. But I'm gonna sleep on it. I'm gonna see what tomorrow brings, and
of course
we'll talk about it.
Of course, I'll join you in a minute.
And I chug my Diet Pepsi because I didn't take a swig of it, and head to bed even though I'm fully caffeinated.
Of course. I think that we as the audience, we see Barbara actually sip her Diet Coke, and she actually walks over into the kitchen and she opens the silverware drawer and she picks up the tray out of the silverware drawer, and inside of it is what looks like the pieces of a shotgun and a hand axe. And she kind of just takes like a deep breath, and almost looks upstairs as if thinking of her family, and then puts the silverware tray right back on, and then closes the drawer, and then goes to turn the lights off.
Barbara fully loaded.
Barbara. Cliff takes a break. The next arc, Barbara takes that. Chris plays Barbara.
Oh my god. That, what? I'm here for that. Hi, this is Chris, and you're listening to the Table Party Podcast. Now, let's get back to the party.
So I think you really get to rest. And it's probably one of the better rests you've had in a bit, where so much has happened, your body, mind, and soul are exhausted.
The cards, they were like withering, they were like falling apart, and now they're fully formed back together.
Yeah. I will say you, when you wake up, whether you set an alarm or not, you are actually woken up by Barbara, who it's probably around 10 o'clock. Hey, honey, I didn't want to wake you, but there's someone at the door that says that they know you, and that they just wanted to talk to you. I would have sent them off, but they, I think they said they knew you through golf. Take your time. I'll entertain them.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Barbara. I'll be down in a second.
And when you check your phone to check the time, you see a text from a unknown number, saying, "Hey, it's Mateo. I'm just sending this from outside of Jesse's no signal range. Just swing by when you have a minute."
Okay. And I get dressed.
And then you get a second text message. Well, there was a second text message after that. Sorry, that sounded pretty urgent. Like, take your time. Don't worry. Everything's good.
I take my time putting on my my Argyle sweater vest and my khakis and these little, and plus I put on a golf hat with the little pom pom on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I go down the stairs. Because at the end of the day, this is a very serious side of Cliff, but he's still goofy golf daddy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And Cliff goes down the stairs.
Sure. We'll play around with this scene. I know this sounds scary, but I promise it's very low stakes. I want you to roll to read a bad situation. So you're gonna roll plus sharp.
Oh, great, cool.
I mean, the bad situation could be as bad as, a little awkward.
No, yeah, for sure. Oh, that's a 10. That's good.
Okay. All right. Then with the 10...
Oh, wait. That's plus sharp, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, just making sure.
So with the 10, that is hold 3. Here, I'll let you ask these 3 of these questions. So what's my best way in? What's my best way out? Are there any dangers we haven't noticed? What's the biggest threat? What's most vulnerable? What's most vulnerable to me? What's the best way to protect the victims? Now, this isn't an immediate bad situation, but if it went poorly, I would have also loved it. So something as simple like, what's the danger? It's like, oh no, it's my in-laws. Like,
right. Well, yeah. So I'm gonna say what's the biggest threat, because to me that's the equivalent of what's the danger.
Yeah. So not so much very dangerous because you recognize the person. It is Luna, and they are at the door. Barbara is actually walking over with a glass of water to give them, but they've seemed kind of hesitant. They don't want to intrude on the house. They know that it is. They're like, no, it's okay. I don't want to be rude. I was just wondering if Cliff was around, and well, you tell me this because we'll make this compromise. If you rolled so low, I was going to take some control away from you, maybe throw some chaotic elements, but you tell me, are the kids downstairs?
I would imagine that they're in their rooms at the moment. I don't know, I don't know what specific day it is. Like maybe Stacy's at school.
I would, we'll say that it's like the weekend. Stacy's sleeping in, but Daniel, it looks like he pulled another all-nighter. And as you're coming down the stairs, you actually see him. He made like 4 pieces of toast, and he already has one in his mouth. And he's like, oh, "Excuse me, Dad. I'm on a big breakthrough." And then he like runs right up the stairs.
And I'm just like, all right, sounds good, Daniel. And I go in and I see Luna, and I'm just like, "Oh, hi, Luna. How you been?"
Oh, hi, Cliff. I just wanted to check in, after the events of what happened a couple days ago, and just wanted to make sure that you were all right.
I honestly, I could be better. I mean, I feel more refreshed today. I got a decent night's sleep. But yeah, I've definitely have been it's been a whirlwind, to say the least.
Do you mind if I come in?
Yes, please come in.
Okay. And there's some things that she kind of says this to you without, maybe kind of out of earshot of Barbara. There's some things that I want to talk to you about that I don't know if other people should hear. But I at this point, after everything that's happened, between yourself and your daughter, I'm sure that your family has most likely already talked about things.
We've been talking a lot. I mean, I think for now we'll keep the kids to the side just to not worry them. But I definitely, if you don't mind, if obviously if Barbara doesn't mind, I would love for her to sit in on this if that's okay.
No, I don't mind. Just pretend I'm not here. Okay. So with everything that has happened, and of course at this point, Luna has no idea about the things at the grocery store, about everything that went on at the casino.
They only know about the the what happened with the Greyhound, and they don't really know anything about the parasite specifically.
There are 2 big things that I want to talk about. And while these parasites are very, very dangerous, and you can see they're kind of getting mad. My quote-unquote bosses would rather I be very, very indirect and vague and scary government agent, but I really want to skip past the bullshit. Because, Cliff, Perfect. I know you.
Mm-hmm.
And, you actually see them, they double check to make sure that their phone is off.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been digging around and trying to find out what I can, and apparently, and they look even madder. Apparently, people higher up than myself already knew about some sort of organism underground that they have been watching. And and that there's some kind of event that happened a long, long time ago between the nuclear testing, that it wasn't just that they were just testing nuclear weapons, they were experimenting on something, and I think it might be connected to these parasites.
Ugh. Well, that goes to show you shouldn't trust the government, huh?
And the other thing...
It's a callback.
Yeah. And the other thing is, when your friend showed me that tattoo, I actually didn't know what it was until I did some searching for my own.
That's Hold'em's tattoo, right? That's what that was about.
Yep.
Okay.
They are a large force in the city, and they control a lot of people. And I just want you to be careful, Cliff. Everything is classified. Everything has been locked away, whether it be between all of these experiments from forever ago or these secret people who apparently are all over Vegas. And while I still have pull at work, I don't want to see anyone get hurt, and I want to see this handled correctly, even if I have to risk myself to do it.
I completely understand.
So I just wanted to come by and ask if anything else has happened, or if there's any way that I can help.
I feel like Cliff is too trustworthy. I feel like he would just spill the beans. Because I think me, Chris, would withhold things right now, but I'm trying to think with Cliff's character. I just feel like he's been golfing with Luna. He trusts them a lot, and especially with the fact that they came in and were like, hey, I'm cutting the bullshit. I think that meant a lot to him. So I think that he tells them everything that's happened.
Okay. You have been a better detective than I have in the past couple days.
Not on purpose, that's for sure.
Now, how much do you just everything?
I think I tell them everything. I mean, I'm trying to think of what would be even. I don't know if there's anything in particular that Cliff would withhold. I think with a normal human being, I think you would hold.
Well, I guess I'm thinking much more like things that might not immediately come to mind, like that William is part parasite, or that you're friends with an alien.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think, yeah, if there's one thing I don't think I throw any of my friends under the bus, but I throw. Although I think telling them about the order would probably be throwing Hold'em under the bus, but at the same time, they kind of already know what the order is. Based off of what they just told me, they kind of know about their existence a bit.
Mm.
So, to me, it would just be adding extra details to what they already know. So, I think I would not tell them about William. I would not tell them about anything going on. I would not tell them Hold'em's direct connection. I I would not say that Hold'em is directly involved in anything that's going on outside of trying to fight back against it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Cliff, I joined my job so that I can make sure that people don't get hurt. And so that unnatural things don't affect the mundane might not be the right word, but the average lives of people like you, and I'm sorry. I am sorry for what you've had to go through.
It just ended up being one of those things where I got pulled into a situation that I knew I had to be a part of and to help out. But thank you. It's been a wild ride.
I want you to roll plus charm.
Okay.
Not that they don't believe you, so it's not that ability, but I still want you to roll plus charm.
Sure. Believe that is +2 for me. That saved me. It's a 7.
And then +2? Oh, you added the +2, so it was 5. And
right, yeah, it was a 5.
Okay. You can tell that they're upset because Luna says, "Cliff, I'm upset."
Just you can vaguely tell that they're not really happy right now. Cliff, I'm not very happy. I'm sorry.
No, you're 100% good. I'm upset because I wish that I had known sooner to help. But at the same time, I understand that at least my connection to my workplace can be very intimidating.
It was never on purpose. It's just been, honestly, I don't think I found the time. It was that.
No, it sounds very back to back. I mean, I left, that all happened, 2 days ago? And everything you've been through sounds like it could be, months worth of content.
Yeah, like a podcast form.
Yeah, possibly an auditory, eventually animated sort of content.
Picked up on Peacock, yeah.
But a graphic novel has to come first.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe a few iterations, yeah.
So, with a mixed success, they kind of have mixed feelings.
Sure.
I want to be able to be here to help with whatever comes next. And whether you are telling me everything or not, they're kind of hesitant. I'm willing to get really cool with a lot of things very quickly. And I think that they feel a kind of awkwardness. Here, this is my card again. If anything begins to come together, and if you need planning or the resources that I can get you, don't hesitate to keep me in the know.
I 100%, Luna. I've known you for years, and I know that I can trust you with this, and I'm sorry that we left you out. It was definitely not a purposeful choice. It was but I will talk I'll talk to the people that I'm working with, and I'm gonna make sure that they know that you're here for all of us.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. And
Absolutely.
you know, your involvement is still kept with me right now. But if things get out of hand, I will pull the trigger to the higher ups to get involved. But I'm going to make sure that at least you and your family can be safe if anything further happens.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Luna.
Of course. And with that, Luna will exit the house. I would say, of course, now it is the morning. If you want to swing by Jesse, you can. Or you can always, of course, wait for the rest of the group to do that too if you want. Totally up to you.
Well, it definitely felt like... I mean, I know that we would probably want everyone together to go to Jesse's because we have... I'm assuming that we have collected the items. If we haven't, we could definitely do so.
Yeah, well, for a refresher, those items are... Those items were a Valley Dew 16-ounce bottle,
yep,
a watch, a light bulb, and a playing card.
The playing card. So we have the playing card.
Yeah, you have the playing card. I think you guys said, oh, we can get the Valley Dew from the vending machine at the casino, but whether you guys want to retcon that or not is totally up to you.
I would imagine... yeah, let's do that. I know. I think Jane Lynch specifically was the one that got the Valley Dew for us.
Okay. And then as for any way you want to get those, you can. I like if you go visit Jesse now, you're not gonna like get your upgrades or anything. So you don't have to immediately have everything ready. But it's up to you on where these things possibly come from.
So yeah, well, I think what we could do is I do want to go there just to talk to Mateo because it sounded like he needs something from me. So I'm going to bring those two items, and then maybe when we are all back together, when we go to Jesse to get our weapon upgrades, we can have the other items there, so that way he can go forth.
Mm-hmm. Then I will say with that, you make your way to Jesse. At this point, you're pretty used to the drive, that star-shaped cactus off the road, and then hitting the bumpiness of the road. You know, your radio signal, you lose that radio signal, and then you can actually see the UFO. It looks like some work has been done on it. It looks like it's no longer lodged in the dirt. Like it's actually just like, sitting upright. Not sitting upright, but it doesn't look like it was just planted there anymore. It looks like it's out of the dirt. And there are actually some garbage bags like outside of the UFO. That it looks like they've been cleaning up a little bit.
Some spring cleaning.
Yeah, you actually see Mateo standing outside of the UFO. Well, actually, he's actually like sitting on like he's actually sitting on one of the larger garbage bags, like it's almost like a big beanbag chair. And you know what? Jesse's also sitting there on like one of the other garbage bags, but because he's like smaller, like he's like squished in more. And
he has like his feet dangling.
Yeah, and as you get out of the car, you actually hear your son Daniel, as it seems like they are still listening to science or fiction.
Okay. I'm gonna try to keep one ear open just in case something is said by Daniel. But I approach both of them. I'm like, "Hey guys, how you doing?"
Hey.
Jesse. We don't have everything yet, but here's your first two items.
I want you to roll. I want you to roll plus sharp for me, just for the podcast.
Okay. Yeah. That's a 5.
5. All right. I will say with that, you're like, hey, here's the two items. And then they both kind of like put a hand up and like kind of frantically, they're like, shh, listen. And then you hear Daniel, and that's what I think. Now, we really, we missed it. And dude, relax. We can just rewind it. Oh, yeah. Okay, just rewind it.
It's not like radio.
And they rewind it a little bit. Shh, Cliff, listen. So now I have been going through a lot of personal eyewitness statements, regarding the history of flats. I have gotten an eyewitness statement about a possible UFO crashing in flats. Now, here's what I think. And he starts to go on about how, it could be, possibly like a message sent from another planet, or it could be the very beginning of an invasion to even see if we're worth invading. But I think, and I have the evidence for it, I have it here, and I'll be going over that next episode, but there is alien life in flats, and I'm sure of it. Alright, and you were listening to Science or Fiction. Be sure to subscribe, and then they kind of like pause it. And there's just this moment of silence as they're all looking around at each other. And then Jesse and Mateo actually burst into laughter. He's not gonna find us. Cliff, he's not gonna find us, right?
No, never. He would never do it. I think that those hosts tend to be just homebodies anyway. They're not gonna go out and search for this.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, that wasn't actually. I didn't. That wasn't what we wanted to talk about. I just thought that was like I don't know, pretty convenient. Like timing. It was like, whoa, the big like reveal. He's like, oh my god, he always stretches it out for like the full podcast. But
yeah, he goes into any like the details that you don't necessarily need to know, but they still sound somewhat interesting to keep you engaged.
Yeah. It's the way that like the Mateo's like, the way that maybe if you're watching like a documentary, it's like they'll like mess around with other witness statements first. Yeah, like that. But Cliff, I wanted to hear how everything went with the casino.
It was a lot, but we were able to reunite some family members, even if it wasn't the way that they necessarily wanted to be reunited. But yeah, it's been a wild, that was a wild time at the casino. We met Jane Lynch.
Mateo's like, I actually saw that. I like to walk out and maybe check social media every once in a while, but I checked, and I think some guy named Clyde has been like nonstop talking about it. Like he went on vacation to Las Vegas and he can't believe he met Jane Lynch.
Yes, that's I actually know that guy. He's I think I remember seeing him there. I didn't I guess we just didn't cross paths.
Did you any news about like the parasites, or what's anything going on?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I'm just gonna say this in my own voice. I believe it was that the news that we found out was that these parasites have been here since that meteor strike happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and if you were to compare it to Jesse's story, where it landed and then it was on the surface, it eventually like bloomed almost like a flower, and then all at once, all the parasite spores came out through the sky. But the meteorite came down, and before it could bloom, the United States government basically nuked it to hell.
Right.
Which left it to eventually like grow and mutate in a weird way, where instead of trying to push its parasites all out at once out the top through the sky, it has been very slowly over time pushing them out through the ground.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think I at this point they are comrades in arms with us, so I would tell them that information.
Huh. Jesse's kind of interested. That's weird. But I guess it kind of just mutated that. I mean, if it's a kind of force that's really looking to just consume, then I guess it's gonna try to find and adapt a way to do it. Cliff, I think I'm worried. I'm really scared.
I am too. I
don't want to see another planet get eaten up. But yeah, if I can, I'm gonna help you guys through this. But I want to have my ship ready in case the worst happens.
I hear you. And I don't blame you either. We are not in any way guaranteed to win this, but I guess as long as we try to stop this thing,
Yeah, I don't.
That's really the best that we can do.
I don't mind helping you guys plan, or helping however way I can with my experience from it. But because I would assume it kind of works the same way it did previously. But if it's mutated in a weird way, then I don't know.
I mean, we have a general idea of where they are coming out of, so as long as we're prepared to go there and fight back on whatever comes out of the sewers, then maybe we can get this thing under control.
Mateo, hey, did you say that? So this was where the nuclear bombing testing was, right?
Yes, I think.
So because it's my worry would be that what if this thing is like radioactive? What if you guys go to like fight this thing and it's just dangerous to like be near it,
Well, if it's been going on for a while now, I mean, whatever nuclear power that these things have, I feel like it would have affected us by now.
I'm gonna use my ship and see if I'll pick up on something like that, but I'll have to rewire something like that to see if I pick up on any radiation like that. But and then Mateo actually continues. And then the other thing I was thinking about was that these things come in sets of like 2, right? Because it sounds like, from the lists that they were having me kind of compile, it's not like they have maybe this link to like the thing that made them, but they don't know who the other parasites are, except out of the hope that, the 2 that are born around the same time are able to become parasites around the same time and recognize one another, so that the thing isn't by itself. I mean, I'm sure if it was something where previously it would just shoot them all out at once, I'm sure, being able to recognize other parasites wasn't an immediate worry, because it would just take over all at once. But if it's something where it's had to adapt to, getting people in a much more roundabout way, then that might be why it works like that. I don't remember who was on that list that they had me made, or had me keep together. But if there's somebody that you maybe suspect, run it by me. I might remember.
Yeah, I will. I'll see if anyone has one in mind. I don't think I know of anyone, but I'm sure I could check with my I could check with my crew to see if they know anyone for sure, and we'll let you know. Thanks, Mateo.
Yeah, of course. You want to hang out and chill?
Yeah. Did I ever give a chance to actually hand him the items?
Yeah, we'll say that you hand over the. Well, I think that he already got the playing card, so then you give him the
Valley.
The Valley Dew, yeah. All right, cool. Here, well, you want to take a seat, and they grab you another garbage bag. Yeah, we're just gonna keep listening.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll listen for an episode.
Hey, Jesse, did you ever get a machine that'll let me use my phone without having to walk 1,000 feet to the edge of the thing? And Jesse's like, no, just go check it every once in a while. I'm not gonna make a machine to counteract my other machine so that you could check Facebook. Alright? Alright.
It's good to be, cut yourself off from the world anyway.
Exactly. Alright, now let's listen to a podcast. And you kind of chill and just spend the rest of the afternoon just hanging out with them. Eventually taking maybe the walk with Mateo to just make sure to see if you get any messages. And eventually you get one a little later in the afternoon from Holden asking to meet up and to meet at Jeremiah's motel.
Well, I'm in it now, so let's finish the job.
Was there anything else you wanted to do?
No, I think that's it.
Oh.
I mean, nothing else I can think of.
There's
there's a part of me at some point that doesn't want to visit Clyde, just to check in.
Well, right. He's having the time of his life in Vegas right now.
That's true. Yeah. All right. I'll leave him be.
Well,
I feel like Clyde's gonna show up eventually.
Well, he was in when Jeremiah was checking out the casino and looking at people. He did make an appearance in the casino that Jeremiah was.
Right. No, I do remember that, but I feel like Clyde's gonna end up having a much bigger impact on the story than maybe we initially anticipated. So I feel I just something tells me that I want to end up checking it out.
Yeah, you actually also got a text from Clyde, and because you didn't have signal for a little bit, you get all these messages at once, and it's a bunch of pictures of they're all kind of blurry and hard to see. There's maybe a couple good ones, and he's like, Cliff, I met Jane Lynch.
It's he's texted that a day after it happened. He's like,
oh my god, I almost forgot to tell you, I met Jane Lynch. Man, you're missing out. You should have came down to Vegas, man.
I texted back. I'm glad you're having fun. I'm glad you're having fun, Clyde.
Table Party has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at The Table Party and at Team Chaos Pods, or on Instagram at Team Chaos Productions. See you again soon.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. My brain just completely crapped out on me. What was the words you said? Even though I said I 100% understand.